Jonathan, welcome to the BWT India studio at the Built World Technology Alliance India event in Worley. Great to obviously have you here. Just get your initial thoughts on how the day has gone for you so far.
Yeah, so I think it's been a fascinating day so far. We've had a lot of discussions with some of the major corporates and developers that are active in the market, and they're still, some of them, grappling with the concept of how much impact the prop tech or real tech market will have on their own businesses. But I think just the caliber and quality of attendees shows that they're taking it seriously. So we've just had a fantastic panel with HDFC, one of the biggest investors in this market here. We've had a great session with WeWork, which was interesting to see their expansion in this market. And I think it's the quality of attendees. We attend a lot of conferences in the region, and the quality of senior level personnel attending is actually, it's a credit to you guys.
Fantastic.
It's very good. And I think we've also had a lot of discussion with some of the startups or early stage businesses, and some of them are quite early stage, great concepts and great ideas, and really looking to work out how they can use conferences like this to leverage their business and to grow and be of relevance to the developers. So it's quite a good mix. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, you mentioned obviously some of the startups. I mean, what advice would you give to those startups? Especially obviously comparing India to other countries that you're looking at.
So I think that first step of winning customers in this market and having a complete focus on one market only. So at this stage, for those very early companies, they should just be focused on, I mean, India's already a very large market, and it's a market that is defined because you have certain developers are strong in certain jurisdictions. It's a city-by-city approach. So you can actually grow a business, a very successful business, just by being in certain key cities. Mumbai, as an example, there's a huge amount of development going on here, and we've got urbanization into so many cities. So that first step, you have to really win local customers, and then you can grow into other markets for sure. But it's that ability to be patient and to manage your business as you're in that growth phase. That's pretty tough.
And I mean, you obviously mentioned winning the local market first, but comparing, obviously you probably deal with a lot of startups, I would imagine. Comparing some of the Indian startups to some of the startups that you deal with in other parts of the globe. I mean, would you say that they on a par, or?
I'd say definitely. We've had some really interesting discussions. Take it back to maybe a level of themes. So we're seeing a lot of startups here that are looking to either enhance or disrupt the process of acquiring, either renting or buying residential real estate. That's consistent. We're seeing that in most markets because that's a clear pain point in many of the global markets. I think in this market we have a great opportunity with a lot of the construction tech that we're seeing. And we can build better. We can absolutely have improvements in the processes for how we build buildings. And we've seen a couple of companies that are in the energy space or the clean air space. That's a really interesting niche that there can be, there's some really great opportunities in this market. But quite similar. And we do see this tendency across the globe because the real estate sector, the challenges are quite similar across the different markets.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't changed for so long.
And I mean, just obviously looking at your company in particular, I mean, what is it that you particularly look for, from a startup that you would be investing in anyway?
So one of the things we do, and it's maybe something a little bit different, but we like to test and trial the startups in some of our corporate partners before we even make an investment decision. And you can imagine that will give us a very clear feedback loop on whether the corporate thinks this business is going to be successful. And if that corporate then becomes a customer, it fulfills the entire circle because that startup has suddenly had a major global brand give it the seal of approval. The other thing we are very focused on is to ensure that the companies in which we invest are having a direct impact on the bottom line of our corporates. And that sort of, it came out of a number of discussions that we had in Asia and in Australia, where the CFO of Westfield or the CFO of the largest property company, it's much easier for them to play in this space if they can get a direct bottom line return. So that's one of the key questions we ask startups. What will this do to a portfolio? If we put this into RMZ's portfolio, what will it deliver from a financial point of view? And if the startup can tell us, for every 1 million square feet of office space that you put this air conditioning device into, this will deliver $3 million of savings. That number is so important. And it's the way that the corporates actually will start to adopt this space.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In one sentence, just to close, how would you sum up BWT India?
So, in one sentence. So, the real estate sector is starting to change, and events like this are an important part of making sure that the corporates and the startups collaborate further. So I think the key takeaway I have is that we need more of this type of event. We need more pitch competitions. We need more of the major groups to be in the room. And I think you guys have done a great job.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us in the BWT India studio here, Jonathan, and enjoy the rest of the event.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.